Now, one of the things that I think would be really cool here is to do a long exposure, okay? A long exposure where you're seeing the movement of the water and showing the motion blur, and it kind of really isolates those rocks, and it has a really cool effect. So what I've done is I put an ND, or neutral density filter, on the front of my lens. It's a 9-stop filter, which means it can get 9 times darker than just without it, which is really cool. And I'm gonna probably shoot for somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds at f/22 so that everything will be crisp and in focus, and that water can be blurred. But I want to show you what that would look like if you just add the complexity by adding an ND filter accessory, which is amazing. And there's inexpensive ones and there's very expensive ones. And when you do that and you do a long exposure, it can add a really cool effect to the image. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. So right now I'm looking through the lens and I'm twisting it. I've got this at 6 stops right now, and if I twist this, the camera probably will compensate, but it's making it darker. Okay, so now I'm at 9 stops, and the through my lens is compensating, but that's fine. So I'm going to turn off the recorder. All right, so now that I have the ND filter on my camera, right now it's saying it's at 6 stops, and you can, on the back of my image, I can see basically no detail. It's all black. Okay, that's because I basically put like sunglasses over top of my lens, and it's super dark. Okay, so I'm gonna actually just go all the way to 9 stops, which is as dark as it can make it, and I'm gonna slow down my shutter speed. I'm gonna leave my f-stop at 22 because I wanna show the most depth in my subject. And I'm just gonna slow my shutter speed down. I've got it at ISO 100, so there's the least amount of grain in my image, and so it's the best quality. I'm gonna keep on slowing my shutter speed down. I'm all the way to a second now, and I can still see hardly any details. I'm gonna keep on going. All right, I am at 13 seconds. 13 seconds. And I'm gonna go ahead and take that picture. And another thing I like to do is I like to actually set a 2-second timer. So I go to Q on this camera and I go to drive mode and I push the 2-second timer right there. And what that does is when I actually click to take the picture, it's gonna wait 2 seconds and then start the actual image. And it's taking a 13-second long picture. Hopefully the tripod legs are stable enough to where there won't be any camera shake, but it's possible, so you gotta watch. You may need to try to block the wind or do something. So it looks like the image came up. I'm gonna go ahead and check it out. Wow, that is really cool. Love that long exposure shot. And I think, let's see, can I zoom out? I can zoom out even more. I'm gonna zoom out even more. Maybe change my composition a little bit this time. So I'm just tweaking my composition over to the right a little bit. Trying to make sure my horizon is straight. I don't have any lines to line up. You can set some cool grid lines in the settings, but I haven't done that here. If I was smart, I would do that. But okay, now I'm gonna take another picture. Looks like I'm at about 8 seconds because it's a little bit darker. Yeah, I wanna make sure I preserve some detail up there in the sky. So I'm gonna go ahead and do an 8-second exposure. Still have a 2-second timer on. To 1, 2, and now I'll take the picture. We've got birds flying around in the foreground, so pretty. All right, so it's an 8-second picture. Looks super cool. I can zoom in and see all the detail. Everything's crisp. That looks super cool. Love that. And I'm gonna zoom in all the way, and I'm gonna come over here just a little teeny bit. Change my composition a little bit. Take another picture, just try to see if I can find the composition that's the most interesting to me. Bert, it's chilly here in Iceland, man. It is summer. It's summer and it's like so cold here. Let's take a look at this. Very cool. Very cool composition. The rocks and everything are solid and stable, and then we've got this really cool, composition here. All right, I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna switch lenses because this lens is a 15 to 35 and it can only zoom in so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my camera off. I'm gonna switch lenses. And I'm gonna use a 28 to 70. I'm gonna go ahead and twist that on, twist this ND filter on. There's all sorts of different types of ND filters. We're gonna put a list of recommendations for different price points. Don't drop this lens, this one's an expensive one. Okay. So, this Indy filter, I think only goes 2 or 3 stops. So I'm gonna turn the camera back on. I'm not gonna be able to take as long of a picture this time, okay? I'm not gonna be able to go as long of a picture. But I'm gonna try this composition here real quick and see what we got. I'm at 3 seconds. And again, I'm just shooting at ISO 100 because it's the best quality and leaving my aperture at f/22 because that's the smallest hole, but it creates the most depth. So let's take a look at this image. That's really cool. Wow, that's beautiful. I love that. Now I just want to zoom in on a few different things and check some different compositions here. Zoom, pan down a little bit. Just want to try some different compositions. We're zooming in a little bit. All right, I'm still at 3.2 seconds on a 2-second timer. Wow, that's cool. And I'm going to take a longer shutter speed one. I'm going to go for like 5 seconds, and it's probably going to overexpose the sky. It's actually at 6 seconds. I feel like I see my camera shaking. That's really cool. It's so windy here that I think the wind could be blowing this a little bit. I'll have to take a look at the images when I get them back. I'm trying to block the wind as much as possible. Wow, that's cool. And I don't even mind that the sky is a little bit blown out. So cool. See that separation over there? See that coastline in the background? Let's see if that's crisp. It's not as crisp as I'd like it to be. So I'm gonna go for a shorter duration of time, and I might just crank my ISO up to compensate to, let's say, 400. That way, and I'm gonna try to block the wind, just in case that background is causing the issue, okay? Okay, I'm gonna try to block the wind a little bit. I don't know if it's doing anything, I'm trying to get as big as possible. That's pretty. I'm gonna go to a second, a little less than a second. Because the different durations of exposure is gonna change the way, like how you're seeing the waves crashing and stuff. All right, here's a wave. See if we can get some splash. Yeah, you see a little spray, you see a little bit of motion in the spray there. That's cool. I think maybe even less shutter speed would be better. All right, so the last thing I want to do is just make sure I got the composition over here that I wanted. Zoom in all the way to 70, try to get it as tight as possible. And then see if I can get a good composition here. So I'm going back to f/22. All right, so I'm gonna slow this down and then take my ISO back down to 100 so that I can slow my shutter speed down even more. That's so cool. All right, so 5 seconds. I didn't do a delayed shutter that time. Trying to see, there's a chance I could be bumping the camera a little bit. Taking a few just to try to see if I can get the one to be more stable than the other. Yeah, see that one's total camera shake. So I'm gonna go back to drive mode, 2-second timer, try to get super stable. And maybe I'll even get lucky and have this wave hit. That's so cool. And that is so cool. All right, I love these images. So when you add the complication, you add an accessory like an Indy filter, you can really take incredible, powerful, long exposure images. So the cool thing about long exposures is that you see the motion, you're seeing the blur, you're seeing the motion of the ocean in this scenario, and you're seeing like almost everything flat. Instead of having these ridges and everything, it's like this serene, surreal like flatness where it's just, you know, it's just really beautiful effect, and I love that.